Welcome, welcome, welcome to Raggedy Ass Bitch TV, where we discuss the contradictions of modern life. I'm your host, and today we need to talk about something that has baffled me for years. I'm talking about people who are constantly complaining about being broke, but somehow always have money for the most random, unnecessary stuff. Let's discuss. Okay, so we all have that friend, you know the one. Every time you talk to them, they're broke. Rent is killing them. Bills are piling up. They can't afford anything. I'm so broke right now. I literally have no money. And you feel bad for them. You empathize. Being broke is rough. We've all been there. But then, 2 days later, you see them post about the concert they just bought tickets to, or the new shoes they got, or the $15 cocktail they're drinking at brunch. I'm sorry, what? I thought you were broke. I thought you couldn't afford anything. But apparently you can afford that? And listen, I'm not here to police how people spend their money. Your money is your money. Do what you want with your money. But don't tell me you're broke and then turn around and drop $200 on something you don't need. Because now I don't know if you're actually broke or if you just don't want to spend money on certain things. And there's a difference, a big difference. Because here's what I've noticed. People will say they're broke when it comes to responsible stuff. I can't afford to pay you back right now. I can't chip in for gas. I can't go to that thing because I don't have money. But then they'll drop a $50 on takeout, or $100 on a new outfit, or $30 on another subscription service they're never going to use. So, it's not that you don't have money, it's that you're choosing to spend it on other things. And again, that's fine. But don't act like you're broke. Just say you don't want to spend money on that particular thing. And you know what the worst version of this is? The people who complain about being broke but refuse to make any changes. They're out here buying coffee every single day, ordering DoorDash 3 times a week, buying stuff they don't need just because it's on sale. And then they're like, I don't know where all my money goes. I know where it goes. It goes to nonsense. And look, I'm not saying you can't treat yourself. I'm not saying you have to live like a monk. But if you're genuinely struggling financially, maybe you need to prioritize. Maybe that $8 latte every morning isn't necessary. Maybe you don't need to buy every new thing that drops. Oh dear. But here's what I think the real issue is. I think people confuse being broke with being bad with money. Because being broke means you literally don't have enough to cover your basic needs. Being bad with money means you have money, but you spend it on stuff that doesn't serve you. And those are two very different things. And I think a lot of people are in the second category but think they are in the first. They think they are broke because they never have money left over at the end of the month. But it's not because they don't make enough, it's because they spend too much. And that's a hard truth to face. It's easier to say I'm broke than to say I'm bad at managing my money. But until you're honest with yourself about why you're always short on cash, nothing's going to change. And can we talk about the audacity of some of these people? Like, they'll tell you they can't afford to help with dinner, can't pitch in for the Uber, can't contribute to the group gift, but then you see them flexing on Instagram with their new purchase. You couldn't throw in $20 for pizza, but you just bought a $150 pair of sneakers? Make it make sense. And the thing is, people notice this stuff. They notice when you're broke for everything except the things you want. And after a while, they stop believing you. They stop offering to help. They stop inviting you places. Because they realize you're not actually broke. You're just selfish with your money. Let me give you some real world scenarios because I know some of y'all need this spelled out. Scenario 1, you say you can't afford groceries, but you eat out 4 times a week. That's not being broke. That's making bad choices. Scenario 2, you say you can't pay your portion of the bills, but you just bought tickets to a festival. That's not being broke. That's having screwed up priorities. Scenario 3, you say you are struggling, but you have 3 streaming services, a gym membership you don't use, and a subscription box for stuff you don't need. That's not being broke. That's bleeding money on things that don't matter. And here's what kills me. Some of these same people will then have the nerve to complain about not being able to save money. I just can't seem to get ahead. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Well, yeah, because you're spending money like you're rich when you're not. You are out here acting like you are a Kardashian on a cashier's salary. That math ain't mathing. Look, I get it. Life is hard. The economy is rough. Everything is expensive. And sometimes you just want to treat yourself. You want something that makes you feel good. You want a little bit of joy. I'm not saying you can't have that, but there's a difference between occasionally treating yourself and regularly choosing temporary happiness over financial stability. If you're constantly broke, but you are also constantly buying things you don't need, that's a you problem. And here's the other thing. Being broke has become this weird excuse for everything. Can't go on vacation? I'm broke. Can't invest in yourself? I'm broke. Can't start that business? I'm broke. But then you are dropping hundreds of dollars a month on stuff that doesn't move your life forward. Like, Imagine if you took all that money you spend on nonsense and put it towards something that actually matters. Imagine if instead of buying stuff to impress people who don't care, you invested in your future. Imagine if instead of temporary thrills, you built actual security. Your life would look completely different. So, if you're someone who's always complaining about being broke, take a look at your spending. Track it for a month. See where your money's actually going. You might be surprised. And if you realize you're spending money on stuff that doesn't matter, make a change. Set a budget. Prioritize the things that do matter. You deserve financial stability, but you have to be willing to do the work. And if you're genuinely broke, like you're barely making ends meet and you're already cutting every corner, this doesn't apply to you. Keep pushing. It gets better. But if you're broke because you keep choosing brunch over bills, stop lying to yourself and stop lying to everyone else. And you know what? Let me say this one more time for the people in the back who still don't get it. Your financial situation is not just about how much money you make. It's about what you do with what you have. I know people making six figures who are still broke at the end of every month. And I know people making way less who are thriving because they are intentional with their money. The difference? Discipline, priorities, self-control. And I'm not even talking about living like you're broke when you're not. I'm talking about being smart, being strategic. Because here's the real tea. Every time you choose to spend money on something temporary instead of something that builds your future, you're choosing to stay exactly where you are. Every single time. That designer item that's going to be out of style in 6 months, that's a choice. That expensive dinner you're going to forget about in a week, that's a choice. That subscription service you signed up for and never use, that's a choice. And those choices add up. They compound. And before you know it, a whole year has gone by and you are in the exact same financial position you were in last year. Still complaining, still broke, still spending money on nonsense. And meanwhile, the people who made different choices, they are building, they are growing, they are moving forward. Not because they make more money than you, but because they respect their money more than you do. So, stop playing the victim. Stop acting like money is this mysterious thing that just disappears. You know where it goes. You're the one spending it. And if you don't like where you are financially, change your habits, change your mindset, change your choices. Because nobody is going to save you. Nobody is going to fix this for you. You want financial freedom? You want stability? You want to stop being broke? Then start acting like it. That's it. That's the message. That's it for today's episode of Raggedy Ass Bitch TV. If this made you look at your bank account with concern, good. That's growth. Next time, we're talking about people who borrow stuff and never give it back. So prepare yourself for that rant. Until then, stay raggedy, stay financially aware, And remember, being broke and being bad with money are not the same thing. Peace.